10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 353. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 353 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. It is the last episode in the month of March, so you know what that means. We're doing our tune of the month. And we're still going to focus on the music of Hank Mobley, and we're going to do a jazz standard that he recorded on his really famous album, Soul Station. We're going to do If I Should Lose You this week. Now, as usual, just wanted to remind you, this is a listener-supported podcast, which means we rely on listeners just like you to keep the podcast going. We do not do advertisements on this show, and we never will. And the way that we support ourselves is through the Patreon platform in the form of a very small monthly donation from all of our listeners. And in return for that, you do get a PDF that goes along with every episode, along with audio examples and a lot of great jazz education materials over there. And as soon as you sign up, you get access to all 353 episodes worth of materials. So quick shout out to some new patrons this week. Thank you to our new $5 patrons, Ken and Roy. And thank you to our new $3 patrons, Bootsy, Ramundo, and Simone. Thank you guys so much for joining up to be part of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson family. And to everybody that's over there supporting us, thank you. We could not do the show without you. So if you want to sign up, become part of the family, get all those great education materials, go to 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners, or go to patreon.com and search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. All right, so let's dive into today's episode. So as I mentioned, we're going to be doing the Ralph Ranger tune, If I Should Lose You. This standard is definitely played a lot. I get it's called a lot at my gigs, jam sessions, all that kind of stuff. So this is definitely a relevant tune. And one note before we dive into this. So, we've been focusing on the music of Hank Mobley all month. And of course, this is a tune that he does on Soul Station, but he does it in a different key. He plays it in the key of concert F major, but I've found in my time playing jazz that most people play it in the key of concert B flat major. So we're going to be looking at it in B flat, and simply for the reason that I think it will be more useful to learn this tune in the key of B flat, because that's the key that most people are going to call it in. And we're all about real life application on this show. So if you learn it in B flat, you'll generally be in pretty good shape. All right, so let's go over the form of this tune, then we'll dive into the etude and all that good stuff. This is a 32 bar form, and I like to think about it as A, B, A, C, and each one of those sections is obviously 8 measures. So remember, we're in the key of concert B flat major, but what we see is that this tune actually starts in the relative minor. So it's going to start in the key of G minor. Okay, so first bar is G minor, and then we have a 2, 5 back to G minor. Then we have a 2, 5 to the key of E flat major, which is a pretty interesting move and really, really beautiful. So we have G minor, 2, 5, G minor, then 2, 5 to E flat major, then 2, 5 to E flat major. And there's our A section right there. All right, so now going into B, now we do modulate to that relative major by way of a 2-5. So the first 3 measures of the B section, 2, 5, 1 in B flat major. Then we see a quick 2-5 back into G minor. But then that G minor chord is like the 2 of F major. So we have G minor to C7, and then it never goes to F, and then the C becomes minor, like we're going to do a 2-5 back to B flat major, but it's a deceptive cadence. So instead of going C minor to F7 to B flat, we go C minor for a bar, and then we're going to dive back into our A section, so we're going to do a 2-5 back to G minor. Then we're going to start our second A section on that G minor chord. So the B section, 2, 5 to B flat major, 2, 5 to G minor, but that becomes 2. Then C minor, disseptive cadence, back to G minor. Okay? And then our second A section is just like the first. So G minor, 2, 5, 1, and then a 2, 5 in E flat major, and another one. Okay? All right, so now we're on the C section. That's the only thing that we have left. And the C section is actually very, very simple. So what we have is 2, 5 in B flat major, but then instead of resolving to a B flat chord, we jump up and we play 3, 6, 3, 6. Then we go back to our 2, 5, 1, B flat. And then we have a quick 2, 5 in G minor to turn us back around into the top of the tune. Okay? So C section. Great. So now we should understand the entire tune. It's not that complicated. The A sections are in the key of concert G minor and concert E flat major. And then our B and C section are really pushing us toward B flat major, the relative major. Let's check out what the whole thing sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, really nice chord progression. My favorite part is when it goes to the key of E flat major. I think that's just so beautiful. All right, so now we know the layout of the tune, we know the form, we know the chord progression. Now let's take a look at this etude. So what I tried to do in this etude was mix a little bit of my personality with a little bit of Hank Mobley's personality. Some of the things that we talked about over the month. First of all, he's just an absolute master of playing horizontally is the way that I put it, right? So using a lot of scale patterns, and that is one thing that I tried to do really heavily in this. And then also he's just kind of a master of these playful little phrases. So I tried to channel him a little bit as I wrote this etude. Let's check out the etude and then we'll continue on. All right, so there you have it. That brings our series on the great Hank Mobley to a close. Hope you enjoyed that and learned something new this month. One of the things that I love about doing these series on my favorite musicians now is that throughout the month, as I'm preparing for these episodes and presenting them to you, I just find myself listening to a lot of these artists on heavy, heavy rotation. And it's been just so good for me to focus on an artist for a month. And I think that could be something that could be really good for all of you as well. I think concentrating and really diving into the sound of one person for an extended period of time, it really allows you to get really deep into their music instead of just scratching the surface. And nowadays, with all, music on streaming platforms and not going out and buying albums, it can be really tough to not just like move on to the next thing. And I think that deep listening of one artist, over and over again on repeat can really do wonders for your playing because it really allows you to absorb the sound of the music and actually get some of it to come out on your instrument. So for whatever that's worth, you can take that with you. I've had a blast presenting one of my favorite saxophonists to you. Next month, we'll be doing a new artist. I haven't decided who it is yet, but we'll be coming at you with the music of another artist. So I hope you're all doing well out there, staying safe and healthy. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember, you can get this etude in B flat, E flat, concert, and bass clef by signing up to support the show. And you can do that by going to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, clicking on one of the Patreon banners, or just going over to patreon.com and searching for 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon with some brand new episodes. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.